Good. Good. Brad, how's your sleep been? You sleeping good?
This is
Uh,
Are you sleeping?
when we sleep,
Well, I'm still finishing shrinking, so you got that to talk to me about when I'm done.
okay. Yeah, I think Randy and I are getting about the same. I think probably since the start of this, we might have had 3 or 4 hours ish.
Total?
Um, yeah.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, Brad. You guys. Okay.
Well, no, wait. I'm not thinking very cognitively right now, but I think okay, maybe I'll say 4 or 5 hours.
So much better.
I don't think so.
Yeah. And then there's some naps in there, but yeah.
Man, well, thank you. Keep going. You guys are doing amazing. You guys are killing it. You're almost halfway there, right? 4 days, 4 out of 8
Yeah.
days. Yeah.
I don't know where we are as far as numbers wise for miles, but I think we might be getting close.
Yeah. Well, almost $182,000 raised. So you guys are killing it. People are
Whoa!
seeing, they're noticing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Rest Van and Follow Van, I'm gonna put you guys on mute because we have a couple of our interviews right now. So feel free to listen in and be encouraged. But
That dip back there.
I'm going to take them out. Everybody, welcome back to the interview portion of the Race Across America. For all those of you who've been following along, thank you for your support. I know that the crew has been reading chat and the riders are getting chat and being encouraged by it all. So continue to send them your love and your prayers, and I know that they see it and they feel it. It really means a lot to them. Well, today we have a couple amazing interviews for you guys. Starting off, we have one of the Human Trafficking Task Force partners, Berks County Assistant District Attorney Meg McCallum. So please join me in welcoming Meg to the stream. Meg, how's it going? Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
I can. It's nice to
Great.
meet you. Happy Tuesday.
Yeah.
How have you been watching along? How are you enjoying the race?
I've been watching her on, making sure Brad is still surviving because we need him. So very proud of him and all the work that he's doing. It's amazing that both of them are doing this as a two-man team.
Right.
A year or two ago, they did it as an 8-man team, and one of our other partners was on it. So I have tremendous amounts of respect for them for a lot of things, but especially for what they are enduring to raise for this cause.
Yeah, it's amazing to watch it, and I love it. Even though they've done it once, then twice, and 3 times, like it's not over. They're not done. Like this problem is still here. We're going to keep riding to raise awareness, and so
Yeah.
We support them. Meg, for those of you who might not know, could you just tell us a little bit about yourself, your role as an assistant district attorney, and how you became involved in addressing human trafficking?
Sure. So I have been a prosecutor with our district attorney's office for 20-ish years now, I think.
Wow.
And so I am the supervisor of our child sexual abuse, adult sexual abuse, and domestic violence units. And I am also the legal liaison for our human trafficking team. And so somewhere pre-COVID, I think we were trying to get together with one of our local human trafficking victim advocates, trying to get the team together, had some people involved, some really fantastic law enforcement officers, Kevin Quinter, who did this ride, Chief Brock, who was very involved in this. We kind of were spinning our wheels. And so then Brad showed up on our doorstep and with ZOE and said, hey, we are coordinating with the Lancaster DA's office. We would love to do it with you because you're so close. And that's when we really kind of made a better task force because we were able to have those victim resources sort of kind of bound together. And Brad is always there cheering us on. So we're very glad to be cheering him on in this endeavor. So that's kind of how I got involved in all of this. And it's a part of the law or part of our society that we don't want to have happen. And we want to try to support the victims as much as we can and prosecute those offenders who we are able to catch.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've been in this for decades, so thank you for
Yeah.
all of your service in this space. From Meg, from your perspective, why you talked about this partnership? Why is it important for communities to understand that trafficking can happen in any community, including their own, not just somewhere else in the world, but in their kind of in their own space.
So I think that those of us want to be comfortable in our own little bubbles and think that this is a problem that is happening in major cities, over in other parts of the world, and not here in our small communities in our little Berks County, and any small community. And it is happening everywhere, absolutely everywhere. And so I think what's important about the community awareness and involvement in all of this is the more that we are knowledgeable about it, the more we know, the more that we can stand up against this and understand that it is happening here. We can try to make a dent in what's happening here. And again, supporting the victims, because they don't do this willingly. They are coerced, they are groomed, they are brought into something that they didn't realize was going to happen to them. And I don't think that it's always recognized as them being victims, that they are somehow believed to be a willing participant, and that is absolutely not the case. And so if the community is supporting this, the community is supporting the efforts to not only stop it from happening, but to provide resources so that those survivors, that we are able to help. So we have the resources to get them what they need. I think that's actually what the issue, when we were spinning our wheels as a trafficking team, it wasn't because we didn't want to do good things. We were kind of stuck until Brad came along with the resources for ZOE. So it's a very important partnership for us, because it really allows us to be able to support those survivors that we've identified and can get them the help, because we need money.
Yeah. It takes, like I said, it takes resources. This does not just happen. There has to be a backing behind it, and
Absolutely.
I think it's, and also just that it can't. It thrives in the shadows and the unknown. So bringing it to light is important also in that fight.
Absolutely.
Megan, in your role as a prosecutor, what are some of the unique challenges? I'm unfamiliar with what that kind of would look like in a day to day. What are some of the unique challenges that was involved in pursuing justice in trafficking related cases?
Right. So identifying, like you said, these are things that happen in the shadows, and we need to bring it to light. And that's how these processes work. And so I think, one, identifying who are those victims. And the biggest challenge to prosecution is you often have victims who don't want to cooperate for a variety of reasons. A lot of it is that their abusers have put it in their heads that they're the ones who are doing it. They're the ones that are going to be in trouble. And so it's hard. It's hard to get in front of strangers in a jury trial and say that this is what happened to me, and that's the person who did it. And so I think there's a lot of reluctance, a lot of fear. And again, going back to having those supports to help them through that. But oftentimes we identify someone who's involved in trafficking, and they don't necessarily want to go forward with the process that we have to do for that part of prosecution. And so we often try to build cases in other ways, in an evidence-based prosecution, but that's not always successful, because we can't get to those pieces.
Sure. Meg, you work alongside, as you're saying, law enforcement and service providers and schools and nonprofits, and I mean you have all these people that you're working with. Can you share just like a story maybe of that was encouraging, where you saw how it took all of those pieces to make a difference? Is there kind of maybe some coordinated community response?
Yeah. So we actually had a case where the team kind of came together perfectly several years ago. The victim in that particular case had been trafficked previously, had reached out to our partners in HSI, who contacted local law enforcement. They got the team together. They got Brad and all of the resources that kind of needed for those partner agencies, our victim advocates, the ZOE advocates, and kind of everybody came together, answered the ad, and was able to rescue this young woman. from the person who had been trafficking her. He had an air tag on her shoe, so
Mm.
he knew where she was, and he got spooked. And she was actually had him on speakerphone with one of our detectives, was in the car with her, and they got her out of there and then got her to a safe place. We had to plead him to a lesser charge because she unfortunately did not want to cooperate anymore. She was out of it. And so we are hoping, the advocates, their work is confidential. So I don't know if there's still contact with her, if she's in a safe space, if she found a better place, if she unfortunately got back into doing this, because that's what we do often see is that they go back several times before they finally have had enough. But that was a perfect example of everybody doing what they needed to do. Then I got the phone call to approve the charges and said, let's do it.
Yeah.
And then we kind of worked through that. So, I think the biggest hope we have in those types of situations is making sure that the victims are getting the supports that they need, whether or not we get the bad guy.
Sure. I think it's just such a good reminder that it does take everybody, right? And everyone has a part to play in this. And even people who are watching, if this is the first time they're hearing about this, like they, in their own sphere, in their own way, like they could be a part of also the solution to ending this once and for all, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely.
Meg, from your perspective, this race across America, one of the biggest things that it's doing is it's raising awareness, right? It's kind of part of that prevention piece. Can you talk to why prevention is just as important as the prosecution side or the restoration side?
I'm going to steal from Brad specifically. I think he says in every training we do, knowledge is power, and empowered youth, it's harder to get them to do the things. So I think that getting the awareness out there, that this is something that is there. And if we know about it, then we know what we can be looking for so that we can stop it, so that we can be involved in young people's lives and provide an outlet for them, resources, an ear, some piece in their life that maybe they're missing. It's often those who are the most vulnerable, who are those that are trafficked. And so if we as a community can come together to provide those resources, to say, I'm not just going to stay in my own house, I'm not going to stay within my own sphere, and kind of reach out to those people that maybe we wouldn't ordinarily do, because we know or we hear from the awareness that we're raising for this race and wherever, that if we can help maybe one child, one young adult, one man, woman who's involved, that perhaps we can get them out of this life, because it's not safe. It's not safe for their mental health. It's not safe for them physically oftentimes.
Yeah. If you can stop it from happening in the first place, it's a huge win. You've been again making this space for 20 years. What gives you hope as you maybe look over that time in your career of the progress that has been made in your community?
Yeah, so it's not they're not always easy days. But I think what gives hope is that there are agencies out there, there's people out there that we're helping. And I think every time, we encounter somebody who's involved in trafficking or sexual abuse or something like that, and then you see the change that you, even in a little way, have brought to their life to bring them some sort of peace or closure or help, and their thankfulness. So I think that's what kind of drives us to keep doing this. As human beings, we like that. We like to feel good. And so it wasn't a trafficking trial, but I had a young woman who was violently raped that I had trial last week, and the man was found guilty. And when I called her to tell her what the verdict was, she was just sobbing and thankful. And so I think that correlates to trafficking as well. Like, just knowing that we are people who can make a difference, even if it's a little piece of it, even if it's just getting them a warm, safe place for a night, to get them away, and give them resources that if they do decide they want to reach out, that they can do that. I think that's kind of what gives us and keeps us driving in this.
Oh, that's beautiful, and thank you for sharing that. And I'm sure, like you said, there are days that are not easy, but when you do get to see the impact that the choices that you are making have, that it reminds you of why you've been doing this in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Meg, as we kind of wrap up here, again, thank you so much for your time. What would you, to say to everyday citizens who are watching this and they're like, man, I wanna do something. What can they do to create a safer community and to reduce vulnerability and exploitation?
Well, I'm going to give a shout out to the boys that are riding and they're fun. So, number one, give us your money. And number two, don't turn a blind eye. Like,
Mm,
be aware and sort of be aware of those people who might be vulnerable. And I think oftentimes we want to kind of just keep again in our own little thing and not say something. But
mm,
sometimes just reaching out with a kind word, especially if you're learning about this, can be helpful and have an impact in that person's life and perhaps stop them from going down a road that we wouldn't want them, that we are battling across the country, Brad and Randy, to kind of raise support and kind of help them get out of where they're at or maybe prevent it.
yeah, I love that. Yeah. If anyone's listening, do not turn a blind eye. If you are
Yeah.
learning about this, if you're hearing about this, you can do something.
Yeah.
Meg, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your service. Thank you. I know just you being a part of these, and from the prosecution side to the law, everything that you are part of. I know everyone is so thankful, and
Thank
what
you
you're
for having
doing
me.
really is making a difference. So this is Meg McCallum, Berks County Assistant District Attorney, one of the Human Trafficking Task Force partners. Meg, do you want to say anything to the crew or the riders as they're listening?
Yeah, you guys are amazing. I could never do it. It's just absolutely amazing and good luck and can't wait to see you guys finish.
All right, Meg. Well, have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll see you at the finish line.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. All right, guys. Well, if you want to learn more again about this race and what these riders and the team are raising awareness for and supporting, you can go to gozoe.org to learn more. We will be back shortly with some more interviews.